Welcome to the 16th round of WTSS Season 7. We're here at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, one of the most historic short tracks in the entire United States, has been host to races since the mid-1940s, was a dirt track for the first 7 or 8 years, and got paved over at the end of 1955. Ever since then, it's been about the same. The only difference is that instead of a guardrail, we have a catch fence and safer barriers. We're going to race for 200 laps today in Martinsville. But first, a way to decide pole position. 10 minutes group qualifying, as we've seen on all the ovals this season, and Logan Hill is the first man out on track. Hill, one of the drivers that has been a veteran of the series as of late in WTSS, has been with us for every season we've had, but there's indications recently that he may not be returning for an 8th season of the WTSS. And with his pole at Nazareth earlier this season, it obviously shows that the speed is still not gone. He's not given up just because there's a possibility of leaving. Hill goes straight to the top of the board with a 20.930 to start off qualifying. 77, Patrick Smith takes it with a 20.562. Last week in Knoxville, we saw an absolute thriller with many spills, crashes, mechanical failures, and more that twisted the fate of the race every time we took a step forward. But ultimately, it was Season 4 champion Tristan Wilhoit who was able to secure the victory and score his milestone-setting 10th career victory in the WTSS. As we see Alex Constantine in the 64, the driver who was the absolute star of the short track stretch earlier this season, taking the top spot briefly as Hill immediately takes it back. But anyways, at Knoxville, we only had 2 cars enter that race weekend within 50 points of each other, and only 8 within 100 of each other. But after a race that saw 5 of the top 6 in points having issues and not getting the results they would have wanted during the night, it resulted in an absolutely shifted picture in the championship story that now leaves us with 4 drivers entering this race with a shot at the point lead within 50, and a whopping 12 drivers within 100 points of the point lead. And now all the advantage that drivers like Sean Angel, Shrimp Engritz, and Ryan Reed had built up, it's gone. That advantage is erased. Logan Hill still quickest at the moment with a 20.362, but immediately as I say that, the 80 of Jake Stavinaugh goes up with a 20.343, and then Fabio Vitabassa with a 20.20, which is almost a tenth and a half quicker than anybody else. But as soon as I say that, Logan Hill moves back up into second with a 27. So the track is evolving. Grip is getting better out there. Hill with a pole position at Nazareth earlier this season tells me everything I need to know with that short track program at the Rollin' Logs. And now, Shrimp Engritz cuts underneath Chris Dodd while still on a push lap here. He's up to 4th quickest. Engritz with 3 poles this season, and the times just keep dropping. 20.192 for the 80 of Jake Stavinaugh, and you may notice on the timing sheet right now, on the top 10, there are 3 different Roush Racing Enterprise Campus cars. 4 now, as Yuki Tamura goes to the top. 4 different Roush Racing Enterprise Campus cars in that top 10 picture. And that is something that we have drilled into the brains of WTSS fans this season, that the Roush Racing Enterprise cars mean business on short tracks. Every single week. We saw it at Knoxville last week. All 4 main Roush Racing Enterprise cars were running in the top 15 at one point. Another team that had a really weak start to the short tracks this season, but has really picked the pace up, is Maverick Motorsports. Tristan Wilhoit had a really strong night, as did William Duncan. Chris Louviere was able to salvage a good result and is currently 3rd quickest in this session. Hill goes back up to 4th, but it's currently Yuki Tamura and Allison Figueroa, the provisional front row, as I see Nugroho jump up into the top 5. Will we see a driver peak underneath that 20-second mark, as Alex Constantine takes it even closer with a 20.021, nearly at the 19-second mark. Constantine did not have the night he would have wanted going during that Knoxville event, but during that caution, when three of the top 4 drivers in the race got caught up in an incident during that mid-cycle crash, that absolute pile-up down the back straightaway. They made some adjustments on that 64 that had been almost put a second lap down at that point in the race. And it just absolutely came alive. And I'm telling you, if there was a late race caution in that Knoxville race, I'm not picking Tristan Wilhoit to hang on and win that race. Alex Constantine is getting it, as he puts down a 19.98, nearly over a tenth quicker than the rest of the field, and the sub 20 is achieved by the absolute short track prodigy this rookie is. And Constantine, now in a league of his own in this qualifying session, as Nugroho puts it into a 20.09 in second place. But man, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch that time, even with 4 minutes remaining. Let's look at through the rest of our order here. The lowest qualifying Roush Racing Enterprise Campus car is 11th place in Scott Roush. The rest of them are all up here. I say that actually, Ryan Reed is 16th. Your championship leader so far has not been able to find a great time, but he's not far back either, so it's still up in the air. Shrimp Angrich is 13th. Sean Angel is 18th. Another person I need to mention, driver who entered Knoxville, 3rd in points. I said there were 5 of the top 6 in points that had some sort of incident last night. There actually were 6 that had some sort of problems of the top 6. But one of them was able to persevere and score a crucial top 5 finish, even with a wounded car. That's rookie Jeff McLennan, who currently finds himself 35th in this qualifying session, but only enters this race 23 points behind championship leader Ryan Reed coming into the Martinsville round. And given a couple better circumstances than Ryan Reed, he could leave himself as the point leader in his rookie season in just the first race of the second half. No one has been able to inch even close to Alex Constantine's best lap. Still over a tenth separating himself from Arnie Nugroho. As we've got problems on the front straightaway, Scott Roush in the 6 car is reporting a brake failure, and they just told him to park it. This track is 2 hairpins, so it's obvious that it's going to be hard to make the corners if you don't have any brakes. They'll get him back to the pits, try and get him back out there before the end of this qualifying is over, but I'm not hopeful in that they will be able to. A few other drivers I need to shout out in this top 10 are Bobby Frazier, your Iowa winner. Shocked everybody by winning his home race, and in dominant fashion too. They just had it hooked up that day. Jeffrey Finguy, who's really needed a good day, running in 5th here in qualifying. McLennan does! Just as we were talking about he was struggling, Jeff McLennan pops it up into the 7th position and now puts himself ahead of all of his championship rivals in this qualifying session. As Reed has still not found an improvement and stays at a 2024. Last in qualifying right now at the back, Elijah Innes, who has really struggled in his rookie season. James Gibson, who the procrastination pipeline equipment has just not been working out. We have skid marks in turns 3 and 4, and I'm not sure what it's from, but it looks like we've had some sort of a crash in qualifying. I'm not sure where we'll find it. Constantine is in the pits for some fresh tires. Wouldn't that be something if he went back out there and improved even further? I'm seeing a damage repair report on the 46 of Roberto Crown Jr. Possibly he would have been the one involved in that incident. But I'm not seeing anything else. I think he must have doored somebody and ultimately ended up with some damage. In the final minute of qualifying, we're about to enter standby, and whoever hasn't crossed the line by the time standby starts, you'll get no more chances to set a lap time. Anybody who has started a lap by the time standby begins will get a chance to finish their lap. No further laps will be allowed. 3 seconds remaining. 2, 1, I don't know if Engrit's made it in time to start a new lap, but we'll begin with the cars that are crossing the line right now, seeing if anybody can set a new best time at the end of this qualifying session. So far, I'm not seeing any out there. The track started to slow down towards the end. People staying out there on their old tires as well probably didn't help. And I think that'll do it for qualifying at Martinsville. Alex Constantine absolutely whoops the field in this qualifying session. Another short track pole position for the man who absolutely lit up the world during the short track stretch in the 64. Arnie Nugroho puts it up in second place. A great qualifying result for somebody who's really only shown it on the short tracks. Yuki Tamura, Bobby Frazier, Jeffrey Finguy, the top 5. Allison Figueroa, Jeff McLennan, Ray Takada, Jake Stavinaugh, and Kyle Bisceglie, the top 10. Louviere, Hill, Van Dalen, G. Jan, and Roush, the top 15. The rest of your running order is as follows. It's going to be 200 laps at Martinsville Speedway. And my goodness, just because you qualified at the back does not mean you don't stand a chance. This track always brings the action. And Alex Constantine, even with a car that fast, is going to have to be on the defensive on that start. But anyways, 200 laps await us. Congratulations to Alex Constantine, your pole sitter at Martinsville. Let's get to the race.